All right. Someone just sent me a Fox News clip. It's a Tucker Carlson segment, and it's called Tulsi Gabbard, who, well, yes, she could absolutely strangle me and kill me with her bare hands, and I would allow it, is also a dumb fuck, a dumb piece of shit, if you will, who kind of ran as this like populist Democrat back in the 2020 election, or back during the primaries. But then, as soon as she lost, she turned all the way to like the full Nosbul, like vortex end of it, and now she's like a grifting, like Tucker Carlson conservative type. And that's just where she is. Real piece of shit. Just really does end up being that way, huh? So here's Tucker Carlson praising her for saying that the January 6th hearings are in political interest. Now, to be clear, they are. They are in political interest, but they are still justified. The problem is, I'm going to be honest with you. I usually don't defer to this, but I've heard people who know more about politics and are smarter on these issues than me say that the January 6th hearings are probably not a very smart political move because they make the Democratic Party look like they can't move on from January 6th. And that unfortunately it's been so normalized in American culture at this point that like you can't just stick on this Jan 6th thing forever. We have to move on, And it sucks, but like America doesn't give a shit. All right, I'm sorry, but Americans don't give a fuck about January 6th. It was interesting while it was happening to them, and now it's not, okay? This stuff has been normalized to them ever since Trump ran for office. Things have gotten progressively crazier and crazier. This is all what it's been leading up to, and I have no doubt the roller coaster is going to get crazier from here. There's no reason to think it's going to stop here.
Tulsi Gabbard is a former member of Congress from Hawaii, ran for president last cycle. She joins us tonight with her assessment. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. So given everything the country faces right now, both domestically and abroad, why are the news networks colluding with a political party to tell us this is the most important thing?
Because whether you're talking about the mainstream media or you're talking about Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, or Congress, frankly, they don't care about the real threats that we face domestically to our freedoms and our democracy. So instead, they're focusing on this. They don't want to deal with the real issues that Americans are struggling with every day across the country, increasing inflation, rising gas.
This right here is peak populism. It's when you deflect blame from the Republican Party, because that's what this is all meant to do. Even if you agree with this point in essence, and I'm sure there's one or two of you in the audience who agree with it, there's some points to this that are agreeable. Like this effort and this time and this energy could definitely go into doing some of the stuff that Democrats could be doing to make Americans' lives better. But like, for one, we don't have control over gas price. Like the government doesn't control gas prices, at least not in the way that she thinks they do. She's full of shit there. She's just pandering to Tucker Carlson viewers who think Biden is responsible for high gas prices, which is complete bullshit. Like, isn't gas like 6 pounds a gallon or whatever crazy fucking thing you measure in liters or whatever over there in Britbonger land? Like, gas is expensive as fuck over there too, and Boris Johnson's running things over there if I recall correctly. You got conservatives running things right now. So, with that said, what she's saying is a dumb argument, and it's all in service of. It's mostly a dumb argument. There's a shred of like, okay, I understand what she means by that there, and that is what hooks people that are into the populist type of politics, right? Who feel like the Democrats have abandoned them, that the Democratic elites are just like so obsessed with going after the Republicans and going after Trump, they don't give a fuck about the American people. If that is basically where your politics begin and end, then this message is going to resonate with you very, very well. But unfortunately, it's a very immature view of politics.
Prices, increasing crime, open borders. The list goes on and on about the very real domestic issues that we face. And frankly, they've abdicated on their most important responsibility in Congress, the one that Constitution says only Congress has, which is the power to declare war or not. So, you've talked about this, Tucker. We just saw how Congress rushed through this additional funding bill of $40 billion towards this war in Ukraine. We are not only in a Cold War with Russia, we are in a hot war with Russia, with Ukraine as the proxy. And there was
Gotta defend Russia. Gotta do the whole. Gotta do the whole like. So there are two aspects of populism, of this type of populism, that you have to keep an eye out for. So there's the pandering to those that are just done with war. Believe it or not, war bad is a pretty popular political sentiment. So if you just like say war bad over and over again, people will think that you're like a brave political figure who's willing to stand up to the establishment. It really is kind of pathetic. Bro, stop being misogynist because she's conservative. You're just being sexist. Sanderhall, your sexism plagues your content. It makes it unbearable. Bro, literally none of your criticisms are good faith. You claim she astroturfed when you did the same thing? What? What do you think astroturfing is? Xanderhall offers nothing but bad faith, spite-driven criticisms which explicitly attack her womanhood. I see. You're not a centrist. Don't criticize her. Xanderhall, you are not a centrist. Apparently I claim to be a centrist. Don't criticize her for that when you're not centrist yourself. Xanderhall stops being sexist. It's not funny, and you hurt people's feelings. Xanderhall hates women, and he cloaks his misogyny with a vague veil of leftism and just jokes. Xanderhall is actively the most right-wing YouTuber in years. Xanderhall is more right-wing than the people who started Gamergate. At least they weren't openly sexist. Xanderhall not responding to me is proof he can't destroy my arguments. The internet's mental illness is one of its shining beacons. I love mental illness on the internet.
There's no serious debate whatsoever about really what the consequences of this bill would be, and frankly, whether or not we should even be in a war with Russia or frankly any other country. So this goes back to what are their priorities? Every member of Congress takes an oath of office and swears to support and defend the
What she's saying here is literally empty, hollow words meant to appeal to dumb people that think they know anything about politics. It's all this is. It's people who think that the only thing holding back America from being great is the Democrats aren't trying hard enough. That's literally where people like this are at. I'm sorry, but it's a very childish view of politics, but it's a very popular one. People legitimately think that all that's stopping America from being fantastic is the Democrats aren't trying hard enough. And it's like the Democrats could definitely try harder, but you're kind of missing a lot of the point and the context, aren't you?
Constitution of the United States. Well, the Constitution provides all of us with very specific rights and freedoms enshrined in that Constitution. Right now,
the cucker face has been unbroken throughout this entire talk.
We've got the Biden administration, we've got the Department of Justice, the mainstream media, big tech, all colluding to undermine our rights and civil liberties and freedoms. I don't see Congress taking action to address and deal with that threat. So if they really wanted to uphold their oath that they swore, that's exactly what they should be focused on right now.
I think the most disturbing moment a year and a half later, looking back, is the moment where Lindsey Graham turned to the Capitol Police and said, "You have guns, use them." Now, they had just shot an unarmed military veteran to death, who stood about 5 feet tall. And I guess what bothers me the most is that nobody cared. I mean, police take life.
I'm sorry, are we going through like a list of right-wing propaganda points before we get to anything even remotely related to what the title of the video is? I guess you just have to shove in as much propaganda to cram down the throats of the college students who think they've finally got politics all figured out, that are like hashtag still with Tulsi.
Often it's justified. We've defended it on this show. But to not investigate it or explain it suggests that the life that was taken was worth nothing. And that is the message that they're sending. This
is from the person who sides with the police when they kill minorities. Oh, of course, the police are bad when they kill a white person, and it's bad the media doesn't cover it enough. That's the conservative position. But it's completely justifiable when it's a minority who's unarmed and didn't do anything, and the media covers it a lot. That's their entire thing. Like they'll even when the media does cover a white person getting shot by the police a lot, they'll just say the media's not covering it, and you can just lie and say that, and no one's gonna call them out. At least no one that their audience is going to see. So it doesn't matter.
Woman's life didn't mean anything. It wasn't, we just killed her and threw her away. I mean, how can members of Congress sit there and allow that?
Members of Congress are not, again, they don't have their priorities straight. So much of this has been politicized, it's been sensationalized with very specific objectives that have nothing to do with upholding the Constitution or what's in the best interest of the country and the American people. And I think the way that this hearing has been actually not even so-called produced, it's literally being produced by somebody, I think, who is from ABC News in order to try to come with with an objective that has nothing to do, again, with what's best for the people.
What this is a blatant attempt to it's to take blame away from the Republican Party. This entire thing is a political move, and it's completely valid. I'm sorry, but yeah, the right is responsible for January 6th. That was a right-wing thing. They tried to usurp democracy. They had the biggest temper tantrum ever because their guy didn't win. And now, and it wasn't like when in 2016 when Trump won and like the SJWs, quote unquote, went and like screamed in the street or whatever and a few trash cans got lit on fire. No. They tried to usurp our democracy and kidnap elected politicians to stage a coup. And now the government is holding them responsible, and it's being live, like, broadcasted. And those that want to shill and protect the Republican Party and want to protect the demagoguery of these content creators and these public speakers who caused January 6th to happen, Tucker Carlson played a big factor in that, no doubt. It is their prerogative to take that blame away, to try to make it seem like any effort to hold the Republican Party responsible, to hold conservatives responsible, is a bitter, spiteful move and not a, let's be real, genuinely justified move.
And say, they turn on their TVs and they get this pre-produced lying. How shocking is this?
This is not America, and this is what's so crazy and what's angering and sad. All of these things at the same time.
This is like the perfect example of the meme where conservative says this is what socialism looks like and then shows an empty grocery store under capitalism.
This is not the vision that our founders had for America. And these people who serve in the people's house, members of Congress literally go to work every day in the people's house. And it just seems like so many of them have forgotten that that's who they work for, that it's such a privilege to have that response.
She's a very good public speaker. Oh, she hams up the concern trolling. Oh God, she hams it up so much. She's a very good public speaker, very persuasive. I can understand why stupid people liked her so much.
I'm grateful to have...
Listen, if you like Tulsi Gabbard, I'm really sorry, but it was obvious from the start. I'm not saying that you're not politically aware or you're dumb if you didn't realize it, but if you recognize where this kind of stuff leads, it was obvious from the start.
Had it, and to see them going every day and abusing that privilege, abusing that responsibility, and not at all focused on what's in the best interest of the people, should be concerning for every American across the country. And
this little bit right here, just oh.
And that's why we have elections. We have the opportunity to fire those who are not putting the American people in our country first.
I think this every time we talk. You are one of the most temperamentally moderate and sensible and even-keeled people I've ever talked to, and you were considered a radical in the Congress. It just tells you everything about them. We're always grateful when you're on.
Can we talk about honesty? Like the honesty of presenting your beliefs? Let's say everything she said there is true and everything. Of course, if she's going on Fox News, where she's going to be seen by millions of people at 8:23 p.m. Eastern time on Tucker Carlson's show, 8:30 in New York when everyone's off work, getting home and watching the news, watching Fox News, it just seems like, maybe she would be presenting the most agreeable version of her beliefs. Maybe that would be the case. She is, of course, quite radical. And she's moved significantly more to the right. And she's basically jumped all the way on the transphobia train, too. Hasn't she done the whole, trans women in sports are a threat thing as well? Of course, yeah. Fully on the grift.
Tulsi Gabbard, thank you.
Oh, well, there we go. Our Cucker time is over. That was a good little cucker segment. We love a little cucker segment thrown in there. Well, if you enjoyed that segment, please consider dropping a sub over on my website, xanderhall.com/live, donating or gifting a sub. It always helps a lot. You can like the video for completely free if you want to help support my channel in the algorithm. Subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so YouTube tells you when I go live or upload a new video. They won't do it otherwise. You can also follow my social media, link down below, and you can support me as well on YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and Patreon. With all that said, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a good one.